Okay, I am so very proud and honored to introduce you, Kristen Austin. I first met you a couple of years ago, and I was so impressed with your work and what you're doing. You are a self-taught artist, and I'm going to read a couple of sentences of your artist statement. Kristen Austin creates visual narratives through figurative painting and portraiture using acrylic paint on canvas. Her work explores the social culture of Black people living in America and illustrates its beauty and universal qualities. By combining representational imagery with a surrealistic style, Kristen strives to communicate that Black people can occupy any and every space, real and imaginary. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
Nice person.
Yeah, I'm very, very honored and thankful to be presenting to you all today, or this evening. I have a short presentation as well as a video demonstration to show you all. So I will share my screen. Okay. Is everybody seeing this okay?
Yes.
Okay.
How long have you been painting?
I've been painting for about 8 years now. Yes, as a freelance artist. So that's actually what I was going to start with. So yeah, I've been a freelance artist for about 8 years. I started creating art when I was really young. My mom's an artist as well, and so she initially inspired me to start drawing. She creates realistic portraits using tiny dots called stippling. And I tried to do what she did, but I just did not have the time or the patience or the skill to really do what she did. So I kind of tried to do things that I felt were in my capabilities, which was pencil and colored pencils. That's what I started out with. And I really wanted to master portraits. And so that was what I practiced with, like throughout my childhood. So art was really like my number one hobby growing up. I watched a lot of art videos on YouTube. I took art classes in high school, and it was something that I was interested in. And I actually aspired to be a computer animator when I grew up. But as I got further along in high school and started thinking about what career would be more lucrative, I chose to do science instead. And so I particularly wanted to do veterinary medicine. And so I graduated high school in 2011, and I went to Pasadena City College. And I graduated from there in 2016 with my associates in natural science. And then I transferred to Cal Poly Pomona, where I received my bachelor's in general biology in 2018. But my art career really kind of started in when I was still at Pasadena City College in 2015 when I took a painting class with an instructor. His name was Jim Morphesis. But these are my early works, my pencil works, and my colored pencil works that I was doing while I was young, a young child. But when I got into my painting class, I started doing my painting assignments. And it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of paint, that I never really saw myself as a painter. It just seemed a little bit too intimidating for me because I couldn't erase. I felt like I couldn't erase anything. And so when I got into this painting class, it really showed me that I could create works that could potentially grace the walls of homes and businesses rather than the quote unquote sketchbook material that I felt I was creating during my childhood.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt you. Do you have a black rectangle on the top of the screen?
I do.
I do
Wasn't
too.
Does
okay.
anybody besides me? Ah,
Yeah.
There it is. That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. Did it disappear?
you
Mhm.
still have a
And then it
rectangle
went up.
overlapping on the right side.
Okay. Okay. So it's okay now.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
No, wait, Kristen, it's on the right side. There is also a little black.
Okay.
Yeah. Got bigger.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
There, gone. Perfect.
Okay. Great. Thank you guys. Yeah, so the painting class introduced me to paint in a real way and in a mandatory way. So I really took advantage of it and I tried to learn what I could. I created a self-portrait, which you see on the right-hand side, far the right-hand side, that symbolized my left and right brain. And this led to me being commissioned by the Learning Assistant Center at Pasadena City College to create a painting with a similar concept. But it was one commission by the UGMA program. UGMA is it's a like first 2-year program for incoming students coming into Pasadena City College, and they counsel them and help them in their academic career so that they can transfer to their next institution. And so they commissioned me to do a painting that really showed me my potential. This piece, titled Connecting the Past to the Present, was not only another step forward into the world of being a working artist for me, but also a huge step forward into me becoming myself, Christen Austin, the artist. When they asked me to create this painting, I don't know where my ambition came from. I decided to do a painting that consisted of 4 canvases, as you see, and all of these realistic figures. And I went into it with absolutely no idea of how it was going to turn out or how I was going to execute it. And so I took the little bit of learning that I had from my painting class and just ran with it. And once I finished the first canvas, which is the one on the far left side of the Zulu warrior, there was no turning back for me. It kind of set the standard for the rest of the painting. And I was now a painter who specialized in surrealistic portraiture and figurative painting. Connecting the Past to the Present is currently installed at Pasadena City College. It's a permanent part of their art collection. And it's on the second floor of the CC building at the school. So as time went on, I continued to paint. I started painting musicians to work on likeness and technique because I really wanted to really hone in on realism. And then I began to evolve conceptually and started to paint pieces using my own references. I was commissioned again by the UGMA program to paint another piece for their office. That's Blackademia, as you see there. And I was also commissioned to paint a piece for the Zone, which is a program part of the athletic department. And so I painted a piece for them that represented the faculty that was there. And in 2015, I also met my mentor, Charles Jones, who worked at the art gallery there at PCC, and he helped me to start reproducing my work and showing my work at different art shows in the Los Angeles area. So from 2016 to 2019, I was painting a lot, and I was building a body of work that I could show at different events. I did a lot of pop-up art shows like the Chocolate and Art Show, the Pancakes and Booze Show. I worked with raw artists who did pop-up art and fashion shows. And I did a show with Conception Arts where I won the award for excellence in 2019. During this time, I also started an Instagram, and I built my Instagram up to 5,000 followers organically. And after I graduated from Cal Poly Pomona in 2018, I was working full-time at a veterinary clinic. And I knew art was what I wanted to do at this point, and I was working at the clinic for the sole purpose of stability. And then the pandemic hit in 2020, and I was still working at the vet clinic because it was closed down for business, but there were animals there that boarded with us, and so I took care of them. And, you know, a lot was happening during that year, not only with the uncertainty and tragedy of the pandemic, but also the socio-political climate and the issues stemming from police violence. And so in response to what was going on, I reposted on Instagram a self-portrait that I created back in 2016. This piece is titled Parallel Lines, Parallel Minds, and it initially symbolized my social anxiety and how in social settings I had to be calm and collected on the outside, but was screaming on the inside to get out of those situations. But when I reposted it, it took on a different meaning because it really represented how people were feeling during that time, having to kind of go about your day and get through, you know, daily life, but having a silent anger about what was going on at the time. And so when I reposted it, my 5,000 followers turned into 10,000 followers in the course of a few days. And the number one reason for this was because of Halle Berry, as you see. So she reposted my painting on her page, along with an excerpt from Maya Angelou's poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So after that happened, I received a lot of great opportunities. And I also started dabbling in digital work, creating digital paintings and logos for companies, and one being the LA Metro. And so I was selected along with other artists to create a digital piece for a group exhibition that they were having. It was called We Are Portraits of Metro Riders by Local Artists. And that was displayed at the Passageway Art Gallery at Union Station. So because I was getting a lot of, I guess, buzz surrounding my work at that time, I was able to quit my job at the vet clinic on June 15th, 2021. And that's when I became a full-time freelance artist. I continued to paint and build my portfolio and really develop what I wanted to represent as myself as in art. And I continued to showcase my work at art shows and art galleries. One show that I regularly do is the Beverly Hills Art Show, which happens twice a year. The first year I was a part of was in 2020, so they had a virtual show, and I won first place in the painting category. And I had shortly after that, I had my first solo exhibition, which was in 2023 with Sola Contemporary Art Gallery. And for that show, I created 13 new pieces that represented kintsugi. So if you're not familiar with kintsugi, It's a Japanese art form where they repair broken pottery with gold and other metals. And I wanted to translate that idea to people and how we repair our own brokenness through different healing practices. So these are just a few pieces from that show. I also received a opportunity to be a grantee for the Los Angeles Lakers in the Paint program, season 2 of that program. And I am currently, or was, a contributing artist for that same program for season 3 of In the Paint. And I also received a shoe deal with a company called Da Vinci Studios. And so they featured Parallel Lines, Parallel Minds on a shoe. And I have another one currently that features another painting of mine as well called Roses Are Red. So during these past 8 years, I've grown a lot as an artist, technically and conceptually, and I've learned so much about the importance of an artist's story. For me, as a Black woman living in America, my story centers around my experiences and my observations of the experiences of others, and it emphasizes the importance of representation being shown in a universal and relatable way. I heard a quote by Ava DuVernay during an interview that she was doing, and she explained her films as being films that she didn't want them to be considered Black films, but films that just so happened to involve Black characters. And so it really resonated with me because even though my work depicts people of color as the main focus, the majority of the concepts and narratives being told are of the human experience and not just the Black one. So that is my presentation.
Christen, is that your painting on the shoes?
Yes.
Yes, great.
Yeah, they printed the painting on the shoes.
Said you had a video?
Yes, I do have a video. Oh, these are my socials, my Instagram, my website, and my email if any of you want to view my online gallery. Go to my website. And I do have a video for you all. Let me get that for you. So this video in particular is it's a video that I put together a while ago. I don't know if you are familiar with Patreon, but Patreon is like an online service where artists and other creatives can provide exclusive content to their patrons. So the patrons, they will pay a fee to see tutorials or just behind the scenes content of the artists working on whatever project they have. And so I was trying to find at the time ways for me to make some passive income. And so I started doing tutorials. So this is one of them. It's of me creating a painting that I no longer have because I sold it, but it was during the pandemic and I was kind of in my blue period, I guess you can say. And so I did a project and I filmed it. And so this shows just my underpainting process as well as how I apply my first layer of color. And so I talk a little bit through it, just a tad, and then the rest of the video is kind of like a time lapse of me applying the color. And then at the end, it will show the completed piece. Okay. Nice. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Yes, we've got audio.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hello, my fellow artistes. Thank you so much for becoming a patron and joining me on the journey. As I mentioned in my update post, I shifted my focus briefly to work on a new painting because I was experiencing a bit of a creative rut. I decided that I needed to work on a smaller piece so that I could feel a bit more progressive and productive. As you know, this painting is called Smiles and Blues, and in this video I am going to show you my process in painting this portrait. So because we just completed a 4-part underpainting series, I'm speeding through this portion of the process. However, I did approach this one a little bit differently in terms of what brushes I used. I switched to a flat brush after using my number 6 filbert brush, and I also did not mix my values beforehand. I simply just had burnt umber and white on my palette and did a mix as I go type of method. I believe that on smaller pieces this method is efficient, but it may not be as beneficial when painting a larger piece just because you have to cover more ground, and it's just easier to do that when you have your values mixed and ready to go instead of having to mix the same value over and over again. I also didn't mix my values because, being in the mindset that I was in at the time, I just wanted to start, and so I didn't want to take too much time in prepping for the underpainting. I decided to use the flat brush in this piece because it would allow me to apply the color more evenly and build the form by defining the planes of the face with the square-shaped marks that the flat brush creates. A filbert brush can do somewhat of the same thing, but because it is rounded at the tip, you can't make defined edges as easily as you would with the flat brush. And I was really going for a more angular look with my brush strokes, at least in this initial stage. But you'll see me use the flat brush throughout the creation of this piece, but particularly during those beginning stages when I was kind of mapping out the colors of her skin.
Are you looking at a photo, or are you just doing this out of your head?
This is from a reference.
There was a photo earlier
Yeah.
in the bottom.
So I have my underpainting complete and ready to go. I am painting from a reference, as you see here on my phone.
I'm not doing it.
I really was inspired by the mood of the photograph, the expression on her face, and the tones of her skin. So I really wanted to capture the essence of all those components as best as I could. I did not film me mixing my palette, unfortunately, but here is what it looked like after I did, and here is a list of the colors that I used. By the way, I actually did recently buy this new palette, which comes with a sponge that you place underneath the palette paper and a lid to keep your paints moist while you work. I really like it, and it does a better job than my saran wrap method. The one that I bought is kind of small, but there is one by this brand that is a bit larger, but I will leave the link for the one I purchased on Amazon because it was a set that came with the sponge and the palette paper as well, so I didn't have to purchase everything separately. Okay, so I was trying to also film a TikTok, so that's what I'm doing here, but I edit out the majority of those parts after this. I just left this in because this was my first application of color and I didn't want to leave that out. But anyway, the base that I used for this palette was Burnt Umber because it is a very dark and rich brown. And to that I added ultramarine blue and crimson red to not only make it darker but also to give a more violet undertone, because there is a lot of violets and blues that are reflecting onto her skin from the background. The warmer tones you see on the left have more red than blue in them, of course, and the lighter color you see also has a bit of titanium white and burnt sienna added to it just to give the red a warmer tone that still falls within the spectrum of brown. Since adding white to red makes pink, I wanted to make sure that I warmed that up, and I could have added yellow and a little bit more blue if I saw that it was too orange and not brown enough for my liking. But adding burnt sienna just made it easier to achieve the color I was looking for, because burnt sienna has reddish undertones already, and I wanted a more reddish brown that wasn't canceled out too much by the blue. The cooler tones have more blue than red, and I also added a tiny bit of phthalo blue to the mix to get a very subtle greenish tint for my highlight color. The other blues you see are more on the blue-violet side and were muted with the burnt umber. So basically, the majority of the colors that I mixed were made from a base, which in this case was burnt umber, and added undertone colors, which were red and blue. White was added to lighten the colors when needed, and I did not use black at all. The darkest color that you see is a combination of burnt umber and ultramarine blue with a little bit of phthalo blue. So this is basically my formula when painting skin tones. Having a base such as burnt umber or burnt sienna or raw sienna for more lighter skin tones, and mixing that base with undertone colors like blues and reds and yellows. This formula really has not failed me yet in regards to painting people of color, and it just really makes mixing skin tones easy to understand and execute.
Oh, beautiful.
Painting on.
Kristen, they want to know what your substrate is. What is it you're painting on?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the canvas. Just a pre-stretched canvas.
And you painted it before? Is that a color you painted it?
I do a initial wash of my underpainting color to the entire canvas before I do my underpainting, and transfer my sketch.
And is this acrylic?
Yes, it's acrylic, yeah. And that's the final piece.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
just beautiful.
Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you.
stunning.
Awesome. Amazing.
Wow.
Nice. Couple of questions,
yeah.
Kristen. Could you give us that video format that you are using? What is the name of that?
The format?
The
Patreon?
Patreon?
wait.
Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the platform that I was using, Patreon, to provide my content to my patrons.
To your patrons. Yeah, and the palette brand that you were using was
I will have to look for
that's
that.
fine.
Hold
That's
on.
fine.
Yeah, I have this one, I think is the same brand, and it's Masterson.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
It's a Masterson Stay Wet palette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I had a
nice.
question. That when you did the portrait that you just showed us, the demo, was your only source, your resource was just on your cell phone, that picture? And that
Yes.
was
Yes.
ample for you to
Wow,
enlarge it and do, that's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
it is.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
usually use my
That's
phone.
so small scale, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, I usually use my phone for the zoom in quality, as well as whenever I print out my references, I feel like I don't get the full scale of the color.
Right.
So I like to use digital
In a way,
references.
it makes it like you simplify and can see what you're after. Sometimes if I do a large scale, I will reduce it down to see what I have. And then, you're doing the opposite in terms of
Yeah,
enlarging
the
it.
lighting was good.
Yeah,
Got those young eyes.
Surprising.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's excellent
Is your
work.
mom
It's
still
beautiful.
painting, Kristen?
She is. She doesn't do it as often, but she definitely continues to build her portfolio as well. And we've done a couple shows together too.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
nice,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
Also, I had a question about the visionary. I think it was on the metro, the woman on the metro looking out the window. And did you say you had done that digitally?
Yes,
Because
I
it
did that
looks
on
so
Photoshop.
painterly. A lot of her clothing looked beautiful. It looked very painterly.
Oh,
It
thank
had
you,
very
thank you.
painting.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
the power of Photoshop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
Photoshop,
really use it.
they have digital brushes, and so they mimic,
Okay, I've
yeah,
never
they
used
mimic
those.
paint. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I have never I use Photoshop all the time, but I use a fraction of what it potentially can do. So when you
Mm,
said that was a digital picture, I thought, wow, that's
I
great.
know.
yes,
Mm.
yes. So
Uh-huh.
it's kind of the same process, really.
Uh-huh.
You know, you have a palette and you can sketch and apply the color almost the
Right.
same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never used that part of Photoshop.
Yeah,
Really
it's
nice.
fun. I enjoy
You
it.
ever get confused, like when you're using Photoshop and working, and then go to painting? Do you ever go to find like you want to use the blur tool or something? That happens to me. It's like, okay, I have to like
It's really the
separate
undo.
these
It's the
processes in
undo.
my mind. Like, where's my blur tool?
Right, yeah. It's the undo button for me. Actually, I recently just completed doing illustrations for a children's book, and they
Uh-huh.
were digital illustrations. And while I was in the process of those, I was itching to paint. I really was. And I knew that I was learning through the digital process
Uh-huh.
way like techniques and things that I felt like I could apply to my painting.
Yeah.
And so I started this painting that I have behind me right after I finished the illustrations, and I felt way more comfortable for some reason with the paint because I kind of had like the process of digital painting still fresh in my mind, and
Right.
so I guess I
What
felt a little
actually helped
less.
you?
Yeah, I felt like it helped
Right.
me. I felt a little less restricted, you
Uh-huh.
know, with paint and more free to, I guess, not avoid making a mistake.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Sometimes with Photoshop, I find it's interesting the mistakes and something you do wrong. And then sometimes these kind of surprising images come up, which, you know,
Right.
but I
That's
unfortunately
true.
don't have the control or understand how I got there a lot of the time.
Very true.
I was wondering about how many hours do you spend a day on your projects? Well, when do you have a break?
Yeah, I mean that really varies, you know, because there's just some days where I feel like I just can't sit still long enough to get a lot done. But I try to do at least an hour. And sometimes it goes beyond that, but at least
How,
an hour, let's say.
how do you split up your time between the marketing aspect and the business aspect of your art with the creative part of your art and with the research part? Like there's all kinds of things that are always going on.
Yeah, that I don't think I have any control over.
Mm.
Especially being, you know, in the generation of social media, it's almost like you're forced, like the outside world is inside your world,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so as far as researching like what people are going through or concepts that I may want to incorporate into my paintings, they're coming to me like all the time. And so I just
Mm.
take notes. And then as far as marketing goes, that's something I'm still working on. I do try to, at least when it comes to Instagram, which is like my main marketing tool, I try to just record, you know, myself painting, to do videos on Instagram, or to take pictures of my progress because I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards seeing the behind the scenes. So
Mm-hmm.
that comes fairly easy for me.
So you're doing it all yourself, yes?
Yeah, I do my marketing myself. Yes, yes.
Uh,
Kristen, I
Yes.
would like to sing your praises. We both were students of Jim Morphesis. I took
Oh,
classes with
wow.
Jim when he first started teaching.
Wow.
And I also worked in the photorealist style many decades ago. I'm now more of a collage artist. But your
Okay.
work is extraordinarily touching and brilliant, and I can't sing praises enough for you. I have a question
you.
about Parallel Lines. Is that that was you?
Yeah, it was.
And that's a brilliant symbol of our zeitgeist, what we're going through right now between
thank you.
faith and despair and or
Mm.
anger and
Mhm.
hope, and it's a brilliant piece. So I just
Thank
really
you.
can't sing your praises enough.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'm happy to that I joined the Zoom today. And
Oh, me too.
and this kintsugi, what
Mhm.
can you elaborate a little bit on healing practices such as?
Okay, yes. So one of my first paintings that I did, which kind of inspired the rest of them, is called Self-Care. So that's a healing practice I feel that a lot of us do, where we are pouring into ourselves, whether that be through taking a bath, taking a break, taking a walk.
Right.
So that particular one I did show, it was the lady pouring the
Right.
gold down her back.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a symbolic way of caring for oneself and healing the broken pieces of oneself. Another one that I showed was two people embracing. It was a man and a woman embracing. They were blue, and the background was like a red. And all the backgrounds in that particular collection were meant to mimic glazed pottery as well. So that's why they were kind of more abstract. But yeah, for that one, it's healing through love, through physical connection, or just connection on a more vulnerable level. And then there was another one that's pretty popular. It's three women braiding each other's hair, and really three generations of women braiding each other's hair. And so that one is healing like the generational trauma of low self-esteem. That one's called Seeds of Self-Esteem. So it's healing the generational trauma of low self-esteem through caring for our hair through the generations. So those types of practices, kind of everyday ones.
Do you use gold leaf or just gold paint?
I use gold leaf for those particular ones. I used a gel medium first to create like the cracks. And so they're raised, the cracks are raised, and then I apply gold leaf on top.
So I can attest to that solo show. It was my organization that did this, that had her, that gave her this exhibition, and these images that she showed do not give it justice. You absolutely need to see her work in person. It is breathtaking. It is just amazing. So yes, I also sing her praises, and I wish you nothing but much success, because you are extremely talented, and I love the spiritualness that's coming out through your work.
Thank you so much. I really
Absolutely. I feel you. I feel you in everything that you're putting on the canvas.
Yeah.
And it's important what you're doing, sharing our Black lives, that we are just the same as everybody else.
Yep.
You know, we have the same feelings and emotions and pains and joys as everyone else. So to put it out there the way you're doing is exceptional.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate your work. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
You have
Don't
a
make
big
me cry.
fan base.
It's okay.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We're gonna all be crying.
Well, now you'll have more followers.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes. I will
Absolutely.
follow you all as
I just
well.
followed you as well.
Oh, thank you.
For sure.
Kristen, you know what I find so incredible about your art is that you're expressing your emotions, but each of us gets expressed into your paintings as well. And it feels like there is such a shared journey and shared experience with everything that you're painting and doing.
Yeah.
And it is the most soulful set of works I've seen in so long. They are just extraordinary, as you are. You are just an amazing, amazing, soulful woman. And also, I want to thank Liz for introducing you to us, because I mean, you're just incredible girl.
Fresh air.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Such a young artist too.
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually what you just said, Liz Tucker. That's actually one of my, I guess, goals with my work, is to reveal that we are connected through our experiences. And I think that's what provides the healing aspect in art, is to like be able to look at a piece and see yourself in it, you know, see your story, you know, being portrayed in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. Yeah. They're universal truths. They're just extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you have any shows coming up? I mean, since was it Dallas that was saying that seeing your work in person is really how
Oh
we
my
get
gosh,
to see.
yeah.
So how do we get to see your work in person?
I am doing the Beverly Hills Art Show in May.
In May, okay.
I don't know from now until May if I will have another show, but I will definitely be there at Beverly Gardens Park.
Okay.
I'll see you there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's so funny because somebody mentioned the Fontana Art Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm based in Fontana, so I have to get connected with them as well, I guess, and hopefully.
Well, Jenny, she's out your way.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't apply for Beverly Hills, is because it's the same weekend.
Oh, okay.
At the same time. Oh, bummer.
Oh, yeah.
I have
cloning you guys.
So
what did you say? I'm sorry.
I think there's another reception before, so maybe you'll be able to come to that one.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's just when it's just like they have an art fair that day.
Okay.
And April 20th. Well, I followed you on Instagram, so if you follow me back, then you might be able to find that out when that is.
Yes. Thank you. Will do.
Hi, Kristen. This is Buena.
Oh, hi.
Johnson. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I apologize to everyone for signing in late. I set my phone to remind me, and then I turned it off after it reminded me. So, yeah. But I wanted to ask you, were you recently at In the Paint with the Lakers?
Yes, I was.
I saw your work. I was there.
Oh, at the at Band Devices, or
at Band Devices in the Paint recently at the training camp, the VIP reception, and I did see your work. It is absolutely stunning. I believe I saw the one with the halo, I believe with the gold leaf. I walked around your work. I walked around, of course, the entire all of the work. And I kept coming back to yours over and over. And I
have to.
It was just really deep and beautiful and wonderful, and just keep going. And your name, by the way, your name keeps popping up. I was at another event, and someone that knows you from Sola Contemporary.
Oh, yes.
Kept dropping your name, and I'm like, I wouldn't say anything because I said I know she's going to be talking this evening, so I said I'm just going to wait, So you're out there. So congratulations on everything and your powerful work, and I look forward to. I'm sorry I didn't get to speak with you that evening.
Oh yeah, no, that's no problem. It was a busy nights.
It was a wonderful evening. And so I
Yes,
look forward to us, connecting. So
definitely. Thank
congratulations.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Much success.
Thank you. You as
May you
well.
continue to thrive, Christen,
Yes.
Thank you so much. You as well.
and touch our hearts with your talent.
Oh, thank you. I will try my best. I will try my best.
It seems
Definitely.
effortless to watch you. It doesn't
Thank
seem like
you.
you have to try.
I mean, it's a process, but it's getting easier, I think, as I grow and learn.
Can I ask you how old you are, since I'm now a senior geezer and I'm looking at this beautiful young face and this wonderful talent? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Young.
Oh, she's just a baby.
You have a rosy
Baby.
road ahead of you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I was gonna say, for your age, you've come very far from
No,
Yep,
painting.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You've got a long
you.
ways to go. We're gonna be watching and seeing what you come up with. It's amazing how much
Oh, thank you so much.
in such a short time. Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm an observer of a lot of people, so I feel like old and young souls, I'm able to understand.
Yeah, you're definitely an old soul.
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
With a lot to say.
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, Kristen, I loved your work. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see it in person. And I love watching you do the demonstration. That was fabulous.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to remove the spotlight now.
Bye-bye.
Here we are, we're all here. I just want to thank you, Kristen, for sharing everything. Liz, I want to thank you so much for introducing Kristen to us and us to Kristen. Honestly, all the speakers that you've gotten for us have been so fascinating and so wonderful. And I mean, each one is just better than the last. And Kristen, you are just extraordinary. I think everyone has benefited so much from your demo, from your talk, from everything that you shared with us tonight. And I know I can't wait to see you in Beverly Hills. That'll be really fun.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to share before we log off?
I just want to say one more. You go, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Bravo,
Yeah.
bravo.
Have a great
bravo,
weekend,
bravo.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you. You all have
Bye,
a
you
great
guys.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
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 Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good luck.